Hi there, my name is Melissa Blue. I'm the owner of Rock Your Reel, and I'm so excited that you've scheduled your discovery call. This video is going to walk you through our entire process from top to bottom so that you know how everything works. I'm also going to answer the top 4 questions I get asked by every single person we talk to. And the reason that I have you watch this video ahead of time is so that you can know what our process looks like and have most of your questions answered, and that way we get to spend more time talking about you and what it is that you need. You ready? Let's go. The first step of our process is the brainstorming step. This is where we're going to talk all about the nitty-gritty details of what kind of characters you're looking to do, what are the goals for these scenes as far as your career is concerned, what type of shows or films you're looking to make these scenes feel like they're coming from. We're also going to talk through locations, and we're going to brainstorm ideas together so that you have a sense of the shape of the scene already. After that conversation, what we do is bring back all that information and we flesh out each scene idea into a big chunky pitch paragraph where we're sort of flushing out the idea of the scene, giving you character names, backstories, sort of the shape of the scene and how it's going to go. And we send that to you so that you can give us thumbs up or thumbs down. Thumbs up looks like, yep, I love this idea, go ahead and write it. Thumbs down is more like, oh, I like this idea, but can we shift this detail? Can we include this? Can we take away that? Never feel like you can't give us notes. This is an entirely collaborative process that we love doing with you. The next step after you approve the pitch paragraphs is the script writing process. So we're going to write that script not only to highlight the character types that you're going after, but also whatever, we're going to basically flavor it in the way that that show or that film would write that scene. For example, there's a difference between a Grey's Anatomy scene and like a Good Doctor scene. Both medical procedurals, very different flavors. So it's very important to us that every scene that we're writing has that unique flavor to the show or the film that you're trying to make it look like. We're also thinking about where that scene would fit within the overall structure of the episode. And just in case you're wondering, we do this all by hand. There's no AI generation at all within any of these steps. After we've written the scripts, we send them to you for your feedback. And you can give us any notes that you want. You can either say, this is perfect, let's go ahead and shoot it. Or you can say, you know, I really like this, but I want to shift this language. Can I use this word instead of that? Can we make sure to include this instead of that? And sometimes, if we need to, we can hop on a Zoom and do a little mini writing session together so that we can go through everything. The key here is we are not afraid of feedback, so don't ever feel weird about that. And it's definitely a collaboration. We're never dictating to you what this should be. We want you to feel excited and that it really nails down the character types that you're going after. After the scripts are written, then we go into pre-production phase. And in this phase, we're gonna be working on, finding scene partners for you, locations, shoot dates. We're gonna be setting up rehearsals with your director who will be with you on set. And those are over Zoom. So this is the sort of nitty-gritty technical stuff that it takes to sort of like set up the best possible outcome when we're actually shooting the scene. Next comes the really fun part, shooting the scene. Our scenes are shot typically in 3 hours. That's from getting into the space, setting up, shooting full coverage of both people in the style of that show or film, and then the breakdown. Long enough that you're not feeling rushed and that we can kind of really dig into the performance, but short enough that it's not feeling dragging, right? Like we want you to feel supported and like we're not in a big rush. For each actor, most of the time we're shooting scenes on different days. We're not trying to shoot everything all in one day unless that's absolutely what you need to do. We shoot up to 2 scenes a day. So if you live here in LA, that means that you're probably gonna be able to spread it out. If you're coming to us from out of town or out of country, which happens a lot, we can put things all on one day. But if we did that, we're gonna put a gap in between so that you have enough time to relax, eat some food, have a rest, reset for the next one. Then comes the editing process. Now we're gonna edit the scenes in 3 different ways. We're gonna do a long version of the scene, a short version of the scene, and then we're gonna string any short versions together to create a reel. Each of those things is going to serve a different purpose. The long version of the scene is going to be able to be put on like IMDb or your website or social media. The short clip versions of the scenes, those are what go on Actors Access or any of the casting websites. And then the full version of your reel, when we put together all the little clips, those are tools for your agent or manager to help pitch you. They're also great ways to help attract an agent or a manager if you don't already have one. A follow-up question I get a lot is, how long are each of these scenes? Our scenes tend to be anywhere between 1.5 minutes to 2.5 minutes, depending on the type of scene it is. So we do sort of like these full things, but we're cutting them down so that you have a variety of ways to use them. If you have previous projects that you want to send to us to include in your reel, we're happy to do that. WeTransfer or Dropbox works for us. Now let's get to the top 4 questions I get asked by everybody. The first one is always about scene partners. Everyone wonders how that works. There's sort of 3 versions of a scene partner situation. Version 1 is that you have somebody that you want to bring in, like a friend or somebody from class, and you're like, once the scene is written, you're like, ooh, this person is great. Can we use them? Absolutely, you can bring in whoever you like. The other version is if you bring in somebody that's going to help split costs with you. We'll talk about that when we're on the phone together. And then the third version is if you don't have anybody that you want to bring in, we will help you find somebody. We have a database filled with actors who are awesome, who love us and just want to come work with us, and they volunteer their time. You don't have to pay them, but they do get a copy of the full scene, as if they had sort of like, booked one of those short films for like copy credit meals. That's kind of the situation here. The second question I get asked is about timeline. Everybody wants to know, from the time we're doing our brainstorm to the time you're getting your finished product, how long is that? The time kind of varies a little bit depending on how many scenes you decide to do all at once. But usually it's anywhere from 5 to 8 weeks. From the time we're brainstorming to the time we're actually shooting is about 4 weeks. It takes that long to do the creative and all the pre-production and everything. And then from the time we do our shoot to the time you're seeing your first edit is usually about 5 to 10 business days. And then you'll give us notes to the editing, and and that process can take as short or as long as somebody needs it to. Some people are very quick with their notes. Other people, take a little bit to sort of get their thoughts together and everything like that. So, if you're only doing one scene, it's probably not going to take you very long, maybe like 1.5 months, 2 months. But if you're doing like 3 or 4 scenes all at once, that's going to take a little bit longer because there's just more moving parts. The third question I get asked is always about locations. Now, our company is a strictly on location situation. We don't have our own sets that we've built out and that's all we ever shoot on. There definitely are companies out there who do that. But I want everything that we're making for you to feel like it's coming from a real project. And I have found the best way to do that is to go out and find locations out in the world that look as similar as we can to these big budget shows, right? So we will help you find locations, so you don't have to do that search. We're gonna do that for you and give you lots of options, but you do ultimately have to rent that on your own. So that would be an area that you're gonna set a little bit more money on top of the scene fee for, but we'll talk more about that on the phone. And then finally, most people wanna know if hair and makeup is included. It's not included, but we do have a great list of makeup artists that we've worked with a ton of times, who are all awesome people in general, but also wonderful makeup artists who do every shade of skin, right? So the reason I do this is so that you don't feel like you have to use just one person. I want you to be able to have full control over who's gonna touch your face and hair. So if you want a hair and makeup artist, that would be something that you'll do on your own. Thanks for watching the video all the way through. I hope it answered most of your questions. Everything else we're going to talk about on the phone, and I look forward to chatting with you.